Hello, welcome back to the workshop. Well, not quite the workshop. Today we're enjoying the great outdoors, sat outside, enjoying some sunshine here in the Dee Valley. And I'm just enjoying taking a look through my latest book, Small Layout Design Construction, which has arrived in today's post. I think they're now available to purchase from the Titfield Thunderbolt bookshop and other specialist railway bookshops in due course. I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of this and talk about some messages in here and give you a bit of a preview of what to expect. So I think it's probably a bit too windy out here actually, so let's go and relocate somewhere a little bit quieter and I'll give you a run through. So, small layout design construction. If we have any interruptions, I should say Labrador puppy is lying down beside me. So hopefully she'll stay quiet. So small layout design construction, I should say, whilst it is, it has the same format as small layout design handbook, and in my head it is a follow-up. It builds on the topics that we discussed there and expands them into sort of more tangible form. So whereas I suppose the first book was about perhaps more the design and the evolution of a design and finding space in your home and all these sorts of things, this book starts to say, well, actually, now we're doing that, what does that look like? Because I've always been asked about it, and I've kind of put it off for a long time, but I felt, no, I've probably got enough that I can share that isn't instructional as such, but gives you enough ideas to go away and have a go yourself. So, as I say, whilst it isn't, important, if you haven't got the first book, you're still going to enjoy this one. If there's anything that I've mentioned in here from the first book, I do try and give a very brief overview, but they do work well together. And Simon, my publisher's arranged for the first book to be reprinted as well, because it had just the second print run of that had sold out. So the same format as first time. We start with a bit of a forward where I try and sort of set the scene of why I'm writing this now, and obviously a lovely spread there of Paxton Road. God, I mean that's pretty much full size Paxton Road. There, that picture is pretty much, in fact, it might even be bigger than it is in real life. So yeah, I just love that layout. I still love that layout. And what I've done is I've illustrated this front section, this sort of theoretical section of the book, with photos of my own work. And that is, it's nice to see these pictures that I take and share on the internet. It's lovely to see them in print in this way. And it gives me a way to sort of set them around and tell a story with them in a different way. And I hope you enjoy seeing them here on the page as much as I enjoy seeing them. Anyway, we start with I Love Small Layouts. And here it's kind of touching on some of the themes from the first book, but in a sort of brief overview way, just to give you a flavour of what this is about. And then we move into sort of thinking perhaps differently about how we design and for operation and things like this. And some of the sort of concepts you need to think about when you're making something small, a small layout, the differences, I suppose, between a small layout and a big layout. There won't be anything new in here, I don't think. I've not invented anything new, but hopefully there's things that make you realise some of the thought processes that perhaps I don't discuss when I'm sort of describing videos of layouts or writing about them. So I've tried really hard to distill some of that process down into here. And we talk about, you've got in construction photos here as well, so you can see some of the sort of magic that goes on behind the scenes, if you like. And then we talk a bit about the physical realisation of this in terms of the box construction and stuff. So you've got some drawings, some ideas about how to mark the wood up and stuff, and a little bit on wiring and fiddlesticks, and then sort of some more detailed construction. And how I can, I suppose, I've got a couple of ideas around how I wire these up as well, so that's sort of described here in terms of the 12-volt supply. And that's 24 pages of 80, so, you're getting on for over a quarter in terms of the book is the theory. And then it's just another collection, as I have done previously, of a single page sort of scrapbook with some words that describe it. And the words aren't an instruction on how to design this. They're more like what I took as the inspiration and the sort of thought processes I went on to kind of come up with the sketches. And sometimes in this example here, We've got a couple of sketches. This is 2 Scottish lost terminus, Peterhead and North Berwick, and photos from various sources, and then thinking about how to present them. So you won't always find just one layout design. You'll find a sort of theme. So sometimes, as I say, sometimes a theme, sometimes it's a specific, and so there's all sorts again. So we've got British of different eras, of different gauges, but we've also got North American in here as well, and also a couple, I think there's at least 1 or 2 European themed layouts as well. So hopefully something for everyone, but all with a sort of small footprint, generally speaking anyway. So I've really enjoyed putting this together as a follow-up, and I suppose it feels like it's a natural sort of closure on the subject of small layout design. And whilst at the moment in my life I don't have space for a large layout, so I've become someone who designs small layouts by necessity, and but I don't necessarily want to be pigeonholed as someone who just does small layouts, and so it feels like this is probably the underline now for me on small layout design. And I'd like to continue writing, and I hope I do, but I suspect if I do, it's going to be on different themes and different topics. Hopefully with the same heartfelt style. You'll get a sense that I really love this hobby. I really love model railways. But yeah, let's move things beyond small layouts. So if you've got small layout design handbook and you think, do I need to buy James's latest book? Then obviously the answer is yes. And hopefully I've given you an idea of why, because this isn't just a rehash of the old book. It's new stuff. It's distilling some of my thinking. If you haven't got the first book and you think, do I need it? Or can I just buy, you can just buy this. This will give you a real good start if you're thinking about how do I sort of bring one of those cameo boxes James describes. How does he build them? What sort of thought processes does he go through? So this will talk you through that as well. If you just like looking at my sketches and illustrations, you've got plenty to go on here. Plenty of coffee breaks here. So priced £17.50 like the previous book. Available now from the Titfield Thunderbolt, but will shortly be available from all good specialist railway bookshops. Would really appreciate your support in picking up a copy. We've got the launch event coming up as well. So we're launching up on the 10th of May. We're having an event down in the Titfield Thunderbolt bookshop in Bath. So there'll be more details about that on Simon's website. But until then, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that brief overview. If there's anything you've got any questions about, then by all means leave them as comments on this video and I'll do my best to get back to you. But otherwise, until next time, see you again soon.